This is what we're looking at creating today, a Merry Christmas card. A variation is this birthday card here, which I've just put there to show you. I'm just going to delete those photos and we will start on the creation of this file. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is bring in an oval. So I'm going to my shapes. I'm going to do an oval. Of course you could do any shape you want. This is just a principle that you can learn. Now I'm going to change the size of that. So I'm going into the edit screen. I'm going to take off the maintain aspect ratio and I'm going to make it 75 millimeters by 30 millimeters. It's a little squat. Sorry, this is for the bow. I'll just start a bit bigger for the... That's what I'm going to do for the oval. Okay, let's make the bow. So I'm going to do that, and to that I'm going to make another oval. So I'll just copy that. And this one is going to be 95 millimeters by 50. Just wanted it a bit bigger than the other one. Okay. Now I'm going to align those two. So in the edit menu, align objects, I'm going to center and middle. And then I'm just going to move the inner circle. So I'll just send that one to the back. And the inner circle, I'm just going to move it into the middle a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to group that. Okay, going to copy it, Control and Z, and paste it, and I'm going to flip it. So I'm going back to the edit menu and I'm going to flip horizontal. The reason being is I want them to be like that. So again, I'm just going to align them in the middle. And you want to make sure that the thicker edges are on the outside. Now, I'm going to do that change it to transform the angle to 30 degrees, which gives it just a bit of a lift. Whoops, that one should be minus 30, sorry. Minus 30. And this one will be 30. This is all just to make a bow. So again, I'm just going to bring them, and this time I'm going to align the top so that they're, I think it could go just a little bit further. I just want to overlap those lines there in the middle. Okay, so I've aligned the tops. I want a little circle now to place in the middle. So let's make... This is by eye, so I can just make it. Okay, what I'm going to do is weld those two, so into the process, overlap and weld. Oh, not weld, I always do that. First we need to divide, which will take out that bit there, divide that one, and take out that bit there, then we can weld. Okay. Now, I'm going to align that in the center, just so I've got it where I want it. And I think I need it just a smidgen bigger. Oh, need to send that to the back again. And make it just a smidgen bigger. Align both and center. I'm just going to take it up a bit. Okay, get it all together and weld it. So it makes the sort of top half of the bow. Now, to create the trailing ribbon, I'm going to add a half circle. So we'll go with a half circle. I'll just turn it around. Now I'm going to play with the nodes. Okay, I'm going to first of all click on that one. Oh no, that's the one I wanted, sorry. Twice. I just want that line there highlighted in the green, that's the working one. I'm going to add a point, but the point I want to add is a curve. So I'm going to click curve and I'm going to click add. And you can see that it's added nodes to there. So what I'm going to do is bring this in to give me a sort of banana shape. Just adjusting it till you're happy with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is add a square. Whoops, wrong place. Okay, or a rectangle, doesn't really matter at this stage. About to where I want it, and I think I'll keep the bottom one. Going to collect both of those and subtract. And it just leaves me with a piece that looks like a ribbon. However, in this case, I think I want it a little bit longer. And it has to be, there we go. Now I'm going to copy that, Control and Z, Control and V, and I'm going to flip it horizontal, so out back in the transform menu, oops, and place that in about the right position. Now I'm not welding them because I want to cut that separately, but I am just lining it up so they're in the right place. Okay, now I'm going to highlight all those and resize it down to about where I want it. So just resizing. Just turn it a bit and have a look. It's really in the eye of the beholder here, so oops. Just hit Control and Z. I don't want to group it because I want to be able to, yeah, that's about the size I want. So I'm going to put the bow there, but I'm going to move, like that, I'm going to move these two pieces, which I'm going to group to keep them together. I'm just going to move them out of the way. I'm going to set the bow where I want it, and that's about it. I'm going to highlight both, I'm going to go to the edit menu, and I'm going to weld. So let's put that on the outside. Now I'm going to bring my ribbons across, zoom in a little bit to make sure I've got them where I want them, just adjusting them slightly. Okay, now we'll remove over. No, not remove overlap, sorry. We subtract. Oh, no, not subtract either. One of these days I'll get it right. Let's divide. Take those pieces out. And our ribbon is now cut in the edge. As simple as that. So we've made the ribbon, we've cut it. Now I want to put some holly on here because it's Christmas. I do have a picture of holly that I downloaded from the internet. So let's have a look here. That one. Okay, so it's just outlined the outline, so that's about what I want. Now when you do an image, just select it, and you go into the layers menu, you can see over here that the image itself is locked. So I'm going to unlock it and I'm going to delete it. I do not need the image. In this case, the squares, I'm going to ungroup that. And I'm going to take these circles and delete them. They're not quite circle, and it'll be easier to put little circles in. But so what I'm going to do, while that's there, I'm just going to measure it and have a look. That's about 10 millimeters, that circle. So let's delete that. Let's go to shapes, let's go to circles, and let's maintain the aspect ratio and make it 10 millimeters. Okay, so that's about the size I want. So we'll do 3 and just roughly align them where I want them. Now I'm going to resize the leaf and the circles at the same time to get it to about the size I want. So they're in proportion. That's really all I'm doing. Okay, I find personally that holly leaves come in pairs. So hit Control and C and Control V, and I'm going to flip it horizontal and just place it. I want them separate. I'm going to group those two because I'm going to do a few of them, and then I'm going to copy and just place them around. So I think probably just making sure they're overlapping the oval. So 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. This time I'm going to flip it vertical, so it's coming down. Place it about there, and one more which I will also flip vertical and place about there. So just turn that a bit. Okay, that's roughly what I want. So with all those on there, I'm going to highlight them all and weld it, because that's just given the holly over the edge. Now, I'm going to group my little berries. I always feel funny saying little berries, but there you go. Group the little berries and sit them just near where the leaves are. I need to send that to the back so that I can, oh, didn't send it to the back, did it? Arrange, send to back. I'm going to put that up there for a minute. Sit that there. I'm going to copy, I need another 2. Okay. So I'm just going to sit that there, sit that there, and sit that there. Okay, I'm going to highlight it all, go to the edit menu, and I'm going to subtract. So I'm just going to it has subtracted them and cut them in. So it's exactly how we want it. So there's our little oval. Now to this we're going to add some text. Now, I'm going to make this Merry Christmas, so let's type the word Merry. Now, playing with fonts. I just need to delete those circles down there. Playing with fonts. I'm going to use one called 2P's Mr. Giggles. It's one of my favourite fonts. Now, in this case, I don't need to put a offset around it, and I can make it just a bit bigger to fit it in. I could centre it in the centre and in the middle and see if I like it. And I need it to come a little more this way. And I think perhaps I could make it just marginally bigger. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, I'm going to subtract that, and it's cut the Merry out. Now, in a previous video I did where I was using panels, I did a bridge to get that little piece in the middle. This time I'm just going to cut it and save that little piece and glue it in. So now I need to save this at the right width for what I want. So I'm going to make it 105. 105. So that's the width of a card that I would normally make. So that's the top part done. Now I'm going to add to that a rectangle, and I'm going to make this rectangle, I'm going to turn off the maintain aspect ratio. I'm going to make this rectangle 105 wide and say 85 millimeters high. So what I'm going to do is just place that down there and center. Now I'm just going to highlight all of that to make sure it's not too tight. It is too high, so I'm going to make this at 70. The reason it's too high is when overall that brings it to 143, and I could probably even have it, the measurement overall card's 148, so let's make that 65. Okay, so I'm just going to, they're centered and they're sitting there. Now, there are a couple of ways you can join this, and on the birthday card you saw I had used hearts and stars and things. You could do that, but another way to do it is I'm going to add a half circle. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to rotate it around because I want the rounded edge between the two, so I need to make that a bit bigger. And I want that join to sit about the middle. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to copy it. Oops. And I'm going to flip it horizontal and move on down the other end. Again, having that, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I want that middle point to be sitting right on the edge of the rectangle. Okay, then I would look to see if I've got anything that needs any little bits that are going to be a problem in the cutting out. So I think I want to bring that over a bit so it gets rid of that sharp corner, and bring this one over a bit so it gets rid of that sharp corner there. Now I do want a bit more of a curve here, so I'm going to go here, click it twice. Oh, what if I want the nodes to be right, wouldn't it? I just can't. Let's bring it to the front, that might help. Oh, it's not going to give me nodes, is it? Why isn't it giving me nodes? Let's have a look. Display, edit. Oh, it is giving me nodes. I'm not even looking at it. Okay, let me just move it back to where it was. Okay. Okay. I'm going to highlight that line. I'm going to add a curve, and I'm going to add a point, so it's added nodes to there. And I'm just going to bring this down just a little bit to give it a bit more of a curve. Adjusting that arm out there, adjust that curve down a bit, and adjust that curve down a bit. And I think I might add a curve in there too, so the line's highlighted. I'm going to add a curve, and I'm just going to take this back a little bit to give it a bit of a curve there. Again, it's highlighted, add, and I'm just going to take it back a bit, take a bit of a curve there, but I just need to bring that down so it covers that rough bit there. Okay, when I'm happy with it all, you can fiddle for this for as long as you like. I'm going to highlight them all. And weld. So you can see it's giving me the kind of shape that I was looking for. I still think I would like this a little bit further down, so I'm just going to round it a bit more, pull it off the center there a bit. This is really just what you want. Don't like that sharp point off to the side, so let's just bring that in a bit. match the other side. You can fiddle, but sometimes it's better not to fiddle. Yeah, that's better. I'm happier with that. Okay, so all I have to do now is add the Christmas. So let's go back and type Christmas. Now, there's a few things with this text. The S and the T are overlapping. So what we'll do is go to our Properties menu and try the spacing and see if it separates them. No, it's not. So what I'm going to do is go back to 0, and I'm going to go into the Properties and into the Edit menu, and I'm going to divide. This will divide each of the letters. Now just want to make sure that I get all the T. I do get all the T, but you can see there's still a piece of that on there, so I want to weld that so the S looks like right. Okay. Okay, now let's see what we want to do. I'm going to bring the dot on the eye down. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, so I'll make it 4.5, and I'm going to bring it down just to the top of the eye, and I'm going to weld that. Oh, sorry, I didn't have my maintain aspect ratio, so I'm going to make it a circle. Okay, now it needs to go up a bit. Okay, then we'll just weld that. Now it's a matter of placing my letters. Happy with the spacing there. I want the I further across, so I'm going to go to the I and just take it a little bit further across. I want to be able to have plenty of room between the letters so that when I take it off my mat, I'm not pulling letters apart. So I'm just spacing them a little bit. Again, I'm not doing bridges on this because I'm going to when I cut it on the mat, I'm going to save that little piece out of the A. Okay, I'm going to group it so that I've got it all together, and I'm going to now size it. Now my card is 105 wide, so I'm going to make this about 95. I'm going to make sure I've got my aspect ratio on this time. Okay, happy with all the spacing. It's 95 millimeters wide. I'm going to highlight both and center it, and then I'm going to highlight both and subtract. And there you can see it's all together. And that's how simple it is to do one of these. Of course you could do one for birthdays, as I showed you in the image. You can use other shapes around. If you wanted to use a star, for instance, if we go down to stars, what you can do is take a star and kind of make a frame of it. So you can add an offset line. You can do an inset or an offset. I'm just going to do a 5 millimeter offset. It's a bit rounded. You can also do it not rounded, so we'll go into the edit, create offset line. I had it round, so let's look at on bevel and see if we like that look better. No, actually I like the round look better myself, so let's just do that again. Or you may find that if you do an inward line, you might get more the look that you want. Now see, that is more the look that I want. But I'm just going to make that just a little bit bigger. Okay, center and middle. Okay, now if I put those two together and subtract, I've got a frame, and that's going to cut the middle out of that. So you could also use something like that, any shape that you want. You could put, whoops, sorry, I picked up both in. So I'll just show you with this one. So just supposing I wanted to do that, I could just make it a little bit bigger. You can see it's touching in the holly and top and bottom. collect it all and merge, and you can see that it would then cut the star in the middle. That wasn't what I wanted, so I'm just going to press Ctrl and Z and undo it. But they're the sort of things that you can do with it. You do not have to have this curve if you don't want it. There are other things that you can do. So there you go. That's how easy it is to make a panel to put on the front of a card. If you want, you can add the bridges, or you can keep the cut pieces and glue them in later. It's entirely up to you. Although one thing I will do with this, I think, is bring up all my nodes. Go in this particular font, right on the Y and the S. There are a couple of little things that are really small. So I can just highlight the nodes and delete them. Holding the Shift key, you can select more than one node at a time, and it's just a matter of going around them. Fiddly, but it's better than having a tiny little piece in the middle. So with the S, I'm going to do the same. Okay, so just clicking on the nodes and remove. So clicking on the nodes and remove. There you go. That was just to save having tiny little pieces that I need to glue in. And I'll just colour that for you so you can see what it looks like. Let's highlight. Let's do a fill colour. It's Christmas. Oh, it's not dark green there, is there? So I guess it's red. And there you go. That's what it will look like on your card. If you wanted to, you could also cut some stars to put around it. Let's make that yellow so we can see where it stands. So you could just not actually put them in, but you could cut them separately and overlay them on the top. It's all up to you. Hope you enjoy this and that you give it a go.